Hi, this is Jim of Shiloh Kahal. The church teaches that the first covenant became old and was replaced by the new covenant at the time of Yahushua's first coming. So, therefore, we are living in the new covenant and its promises now and have been since some point in that coming, either at the beginning, during, or after his ministry and or after his death. Scriptures teach that the first covenant is becoming old and will be replaced by the new or renewed covenant at the time of Yahushua's second coming. It did not take place and was still a promised future event after Yahushua's first coming and during the days of Paul and the letters. It remained their great hope and expectation, and today it remains a future event and our great hope and expectation. Scriptures agree with the church that the first covenant is flawed, but they do not agree with the church upon what that flaw is. The church says the flaw is the Torah. Therefore, the Torah and its required justice needed to be fulfilled and replaced, which they teach occurred at the first coming. Therefore, the replacement of Torah is the teaching of Yahushua and Paul. But scriptures teach that the flaw of the first covenant is man's inability to keep it because of the impediment of flesh inherited from Adam. Therefore, the inability of man needs to be replaced with ability. David, Solomon, Yahushua, Paul, John, James all affirm the Torah as wonderful and perfect. They teach obedience to it. But it was never able to perfect man or to bring man eternal higher life because all men transgressed it. Therefore, it cannot save or make us righteous. Yahushua came to perfect righteousness and bring us eternal high. And therefore, only Mashiach saves us, and that through our obedience of faith. Receiving everlasting high through faith in the work of Mashiach is freedom. Earning everlasting life through perfect obedience to the Torah while in the flesh is bondage. Yahushua saves us and admonishes us to keep his command. His command is to keep his commands and the commands of his Father. The command of Elohim has always been to guard and keep all of his Torah, including the Torah. Nothing, including his coming and bringing salvation, has changed this command. To read Paul correctly, you must understand that keeping and guarding the Torah was never in question by anyone during his time or in his culture. Its continuation and obedience to it was assumed, and he affirms that throughout. Never does he or Yahushua ever suggest it has ceased to become the governing rules of obedient behavior to Yisrael, including to the Gentiles who believe and are grafted into the olive tree of Yisrael. But he does argue and teach that one is not saved through Torah, but through Mashiach. To try to earn salvation through Torah is to make the work of Yahushua, of no value. And he affirms the teachings of Yahushua and differentiates between the Torah and the commands of Elohim versus the commands of men in dogma. John the Immerser, Yahushua, and Paul are all very hard on the Pharisees, scribes, and other rulers who are placing their own commands upon Israel that were not from Elohim. You must understand that the resurrection, the gathering into the promised land, and the beginning of the new covenant are the hope of Israel and the promises that have been made to them. Paul refers to them as the hope and expectation, which confirms them as a yet future event. In summary, Yahushua is the promised one, and all hope is fulfilled in and through him. At his first coming, Yahushua lived the perfect, sinless life and offered it as sacrifice for our transgressions, and thereby earned our righteousness and eternal high. With his blood, he paid for and guaranteed the new or renewed covenant. He earned the role of sovereign and priest in the reign of Elohim, and he brought the first fruits of the Ruah, which is the ministry of the Ruach HaKodesh. At his second coming, the day of Yahuwah begins, and the time of the Gentiles is over. When it comes, the elect will be resurrected or transformed into new spirit flesh bodies that have high or life everlasting. We will be whisked away to our new home, the new Jerusalem, which is in the Shemayim, while judgment is meted out and the earth is made ready. The New Jerusalem is the home of Elohim, and the elect will reside or tabernacle with Elohim there forevermore. It's at this time, with these bodies, that the new or renewed covenant begins. After the judgment, and upon completion of earth's preparation, the New Jerusalem and the reign of Elohim will come down to take its place on earth. The first coming was in preparation for and anticipation of the second coming, which is the fulfillment of the promises when we receive resurrection life in the promised land in proximity to Elohim, at which time we receive the fullness of the promise that we will be his people and he will be our Elohim.